Warning: the following video contains elements that aren't suitable for people who are under the age of 17. Viewer discretion is advised. Also, all videos and audio clips used in this video are in fair use. All rights go to the original copyright owners.
What's up, Internet? Mike Duggar at Duggar Music Corner here, and this is part 2 of the Worst of 2021 list. If you haven't seen part 1 and would like to know what entries 10 through 6 are, then the link is in the description. Oh boy. Fair warning, I am gonna get really angry in this video. So if you're one of those people who don't like a lot of negativity in your life, then you might want to click out of this video because you won't let me want to get angry, and these 5 songs happen to really get under my skin. But if you're bearing with me as we deal with these atrocities that actively piss me off all year, then let's continue on.
Took a while, was in the now when I first heard that you moved on quicker than I could have ever, you know that hurt.
Number 5!
Just to see your name, but now that it's there, I don't really know what to say.
So, Fancy Like. That song sucks and 9% of us feel that way. But whether you love it unironically or hate it, you have to admit that it could have been worse. I've already said this in the last portion, but Fancy Like has something going for it. It gets a reaction out of people. Its lyrics are memorable. Its melody's memorable. It's just a stupid train wreck song that annoys people, and that's all it presents itself to be. So what exactly happens when you remove all of the charm, memorability, effort, and basically every redeeming quality of Fancy Like and replace it with this big, huge pile of pretentiousness? You get Good Time by Nico Moon.
We just trying to catch a good time, even if it takes all night. Pass that bottle around the campfire, sipping apple pie moonshine.
Honestly, I wish I did still hate Fancy Like more. Actually, I wish I still hate Fancy Like, period. I'd have a lot more material to work with, and I would have gone on and on about how much it pissed me off and how embarrassing the lyrics are. But then when I started to plan on what to put on my list, I listened to a year-end chart along with some other hated songs that weren't projected to make the year-end chart, and while listening to a former, I was reminded that this song existed. When I heard it for the first time in full since February, it occurred to me that we already had a song that was similar to Fancy Like. And not only does this song do everything that Fancy Like does without the emotion, but it might have been responsible for Fancy Like's success and why country has been pretty shitty throughout this entire year. Because it made fucking bro country have a resurgence! I've made my hatred for this subgenre of country very clear whenever I had to talk about a song in this subgenre, and I've been waiting forever for that subgenre to fade away. When country music had tons of songs I enjoyed last year, even though Luke Bryan, Sam Hunt, and Jason Aldean had hits that year, I was fairly confident that country was back on its feet, and we'd be continuing the streak of some amazing hits from the genre. And when Good Time debuted in October 2020, I assumed that was going to be a flop because the clips I heard from it sounded like it could have only been a thing in 2013. And even when it was sticking around, I really didn't think it would touch the top 40, and we forget about it once it drops out. But how wrong I was, because this song became a number 1 hit this year. Well, on the country charts, and I am very lit about its success because out of all the bro country songs I've heard, I'm not sure if it's the least appealing one, but one thing's for sure is that I do not see how anyone can enjoy this mess. For starters, the name of this song is called Good Time, right? And it's supposed to be a song where I'm hanging out with my friends at a campfire just sipping apple pie moonshine and I guess singing an old Alabama song. Okay, so if that's the vibe I'm supposed to be getting from this song, then why am I feeling the exact opposite? Why instead of me vibe with my friends, I instead want to go to a lake and complain about how miserable I feel? If I'm doing all of that instead of what you intend me to do, then you're not providing the definition of a good time. When I'm having a good time, there should be life, energy, happiness, and amusement. Like this city right here. You see that? That's the type of song I play when I'm going on an adventure. It's fun, it's catchy, the production has some life to it, and Carly Rae and Amiya both sound like they're having the time of their freaking lives. Not getting that from the other good time. If you're gonna make a song with this type suck, it should at least anger me in an annoying way and have some sort of appeal that makes people turn their brains off and have some defenders of it. Hell, even the bro country songs in the mid-2010s got that right. But this, it doesn't fucking try. It does worse than not try. It doesn't try while thinking that it's the shit! And that's the thing that angers me about the song. The tastelessness of it. The production sounds so awful that it's not even funny. It feels like he decided to make the worst hip-hop country fusion possible by mixing terrible sounding twangy guitars and trap hi-hats and then call it a day thinking that he'll get an A on the assignment. And then we get to Nico himself. I do not get good vibes with his performance at all. Everything about reeks of smugness. Every line I hear him sing sounds like he thinks he's high above everyone else. There are so many parts of the song that make me feel like throwing my phone to the ground to a point where I can make a top 10 worst moments of Nico Moo's performance in good time.
We got them folding chairs leaning way back. No other plans other than to relax. We ain't worried about tomorrow from where we at.
Ugh, that's up there.
Yeah, we picking on them guitars just right. Everybody singing Dixieland alike.
Insufferable. That's up there too.
Way down here we all got that southern drawl. We take our time when we talking, hey y'all.
Oh, this part! This part we're most definitely topping. I don't know what it is about how he sings those two lines, but somehow it just rubs me the wrong way. And he makes it worse by transitioning to this!
Yeah, it don't take much for us to have it all.
The way he laughs when he sings half that line. Who the hell does he think he is? Is he not one of those people who think he has it all figured out and wants to rub it in your face about how good he has it? And this isn't a okay situation where the singer's trying too hard to sell a tone of the song that comes across differently than intended. This is a man not trying at all and acting like he doesn't have to because he has a perfect life. Now, why does that description sound familiar?
But I won't hesitate no more.
Yep, this song has been compared twice to I'm Yours by Jason Mraz, aka one of the most insufferable radio funguses of all time. And after listening to that song and Good Time back to back, yeah! This is definitely the country version of that song. Appealless, soulless, and unbearable. But there's one thing I hate about it more than its pretentiousness and lack of effort.
There's a hole in the bottle, leaking all this wine. It's already empty and ain't even supper time.
I remember when I had to do a review of the top 40 in mid-February. There were two country songs I reviewed that month. One of them was great. The other one wasn't. Guess what song touched the top 20? Guess what song clinched a year spot? And the other song only rose one position after it entered the top 40, and then country radio station dropped it 2 weeks after I reviewed the song and was rooting for it to stick around long to make the year end. The fact that a fun pop country song with plain country elements didn't make the year end chart and give my woman her first year end entry, while this outdated, useless, semi-irredeemable joke was able to make the bottom 20 just fine is very unforgivable. And this song's existence is unforgivable. The more I listen to this song, the more I'm glad for Till I Get Stolen has done it become more successful, because there's nothing about Good Time that stands out from the other bro country songs before or since. There's nothing about it that gives you a reason to thrash it hard and lose your shit. This song is just a miserable time all around. It makes my day worse having to hear this faux deep country song. And once this year is finished, I think we should do ourselves a favor and leave it in the dustbin where it belongs.
Trying to catch a good time, baby. Good time. Oh, I think I got a bite.
I know you like this. When shit don't go your way,
4.
Every reason.
Alright, hey, how you doing? So, for my number 4 pick, I actually have some thoughts on the man who sang this song, and I think I might be spending more time talking about his life than the song. So if you don't really want to hear what I have to say about this guy and just want to know my thoughts on the song, this is the timestamp that you need to go. I will be revealing what the song is before I go on the rant, and once you see who the person who sings the song is, you'll understand where I'm going at. So just go to this timestamp if you just don't want to hear what I have to say about this guy, and I'll see you then, I guess. Alright, so with all that out of the way, let me ask you a question. Rap this motherfucker! Morgan Wallen, what do I ever do with you? I'm not talking about this man much on this channel, but at the very beginning of the year, he was hyped to dominate country music, and I mean really dominate. He had the biggest country album bomb in Billboard history in January. Some of the songs that debuted that week were stable at first. More Than My Hometown had some legs to make this year's year-end chart too. Hell, even Seven Summers was set up to have a The Bones type run to make 2021's year-end chart after missing 2020's. Not only was he at the height of his career, but people who weren't into country music or weren't feeling him at first were coming around on the guy and appreciating his artistry. Hell, when Tom put More Than My Hometown on his best list, he said that he was going to be the face of country music and things were looking up for him. And yeah, that was true. This man was indeed going to not just be the biggest country star of 2021, but the biggest star of 2020 music scene, period. More so than Lil Nas X, more so than Doja Cat, even more so than Olivia Rodrigo probably. And I was prepared to listen to plenty of his songs throughout the year. And then all the hype went down the drain when he did a certain thing in February.
Hey, take care of this pussy ass motherfucker. Oh, fuck. Hey, Gracie, take care of this pussy ass nigga.
Jesus fucking Christ! I've been waiting as a career killer this bad since... Actually, come to think of it, this might be the first career killer controversy I've paid attention to instead of looking it up on the internet. But yeah, this man blew it. He had all these people on his good side. Hell, despite me never caring for his music, I did enjoy the clips I heard of Seven Summers and was planning on adding it to my playlist. But when he said that slur that's extremely offensive to African Americans like myself, most people didn't want anything to do with him. Radio stations stopped playing his music for a short amount of time. He got suspended from his contract. People all over Nashville were having a debate on country music stance on racism. And if you ask me, I'd say that country music stance on racism is not good. When I saw that clip of Morgan saying our word, of course I wasn't happy. I hate it when a white person says the N-word. And I don't care if it's the way we use it. If I see or hear any non-black person say that word, I have zero tolerance for that shit. But I also had a problem with all the artists who side with that racist prick by saying that everyone makes mistakes, or how even some said that what Morgan did that night doesn't represent what country music is all about. Well, if the genre is not built on racism, then why did the sales of his album and some of his songs increase after the incident, and why did the album spend 10 motherfucking weeks on the top of the Billboard 200? And this shit happened after all the BLM protests last year. My country sure forgives racism very quickly, doesn't it? The only way racism can be forgiven by me if they A, never do it again, and B, put the time and effort to be a better person and respect African Americans. You need to completely show remorse for your abysmal action and do everything in your power to learn your hard lesson. Morgan didn't do any of that. He said that he was sorry, promised that he was going to live down the mistakes he made, meet with the NAACP to learn the history of that word, and donate to black organizations and not go on tour for a while. But you know the old saying, show, don't tell. and all the things that he said he was gonna do, he didn't show it. Instead, he faked his apology and claimed that the slur usage was just playful. He bailed out on the NAACP meeting. He lied about donating to the organizations and toured with Kid Fucking Rock that summer. And to make matters worse, Nashville finally brushed off his sin and put one of his songs back in rotation. So I'd say country music does represent racism, and this won't be the last pick where I have to have this talk. I mean, I didn't really want to go on that rant, but I knew I had to let out eventually, and I would have done it much earlier in the year if I felt like it at the time. Back when I was doing my February Top 40 review, there were Morgan Wallen songs that were still in the top 40 because we hadn't gotten to the week where the songs would have been vanished. I chose not to review those songs because I really wasn't in the mood to listen or talk about any songs from that asshole. And I didn't want to spend half my video being pissed at the man for using our slur. It didn't help that none of the songs that he had in top 4 were even bad. Except for the highest debuting song from the album bomb.
I don't always wake up in the morning.
Isn't it funny how this song was the closest one to making the year-end chart this year? More so than More Than My Hometown? And keep in mind that country radio had drum organ at the time. It stuck around on the chart for 19 weeks, all because of streaming. People listened to this shit just to support their idol. These people are so pathetic. You had all these songs you could have streamed to attempt to give Morgan a year-end hit, and you went with the worst one from the album. Or I'm gonna assume it's the worst song from it. Who fucking cares? The only thing that matters is that the song is fucking depressing.
Wasted on you. All of this time and all of this money.
Jesus Christ, what is this production? If I thought Good Times production was unpleasant, then this is on a whole nother level, cause the second the trap hi-hats come in when Morgan sings the first chorus, the song becomes unlistenable toxic dirt. It's basically the song equivalent of vomit. It's the type of song that plays when you're on the floor waking up to some awful smelly vomit after a party. This sludge of the production is capped off with Morgan just complaining and wallowing in his misery. Here, he's buried that he wasted all his time and money on an ex who hates him, all so he could keep the burning relationship going. And Morgan does sound bitter on the track. I can tell that he's really pissed that he can't get over this breakup. But my problem with it is that that's all this song is! It's just Morgan whining over a badly produced trap country track with no catharsis, no self-awareness, or lessons learned. Hell, on one line he even complains about how he has to learn the hard way from messing up in the relationship.
Looks like I'm learning the hard way again. It's all my fault. Yeah, I dropped the ball.
Damn right, your fault! This woman hates you for a reason, and you think you can buy her gifts so she'll stick by you? No! Buying her gifts isn't enough. You have to put in the effort. I have no idea why she hates you, but remember what I said a few minutes ago about how you have to do everything in your power to show that you've changed? Yeah, you need to show remorse for whatever you've done to that chick, mean every word you say, and just be a human and grow up. And here you are just growing your bedroom saying, woe is me. This woman's pissed at me. I tried to win her heart back, but no, I made things worse. I guess I have no choice but to suffer through the consequences once again. Morgan Cole Wallen, you are one sad failure of a man. I'm pretty sure the way you're handling your breakup is the same way you probably handle your scuffle. No! It's exactly the way you handled it! It's clearly obvious that over the past 10 months you have learned nothing from the scandal. I see you in your house drinking hard and complaining that people don't get it and it was just a joke and I was drunk. And alcohol makes you do certain things that you don't usually do. But whatever, despite the fact it's just a simple word, I guess I have to go through the talk and have a bunch of African Americans talk shit about me because that's what life is for a privileged white person like me. You're lucky that I'm only putting this song at the position that I put it in without my disdain for you. Because if I wasn't forced to separate the art from the artist, I'm not sure if it topped this list, but would most definitely be in the top 2. But But even if you don't pay attention to the lyrics, when you interpret it with the actual meaning, or think about his wrongdoing, the song is still slow to listen to due to this murky trap production and Morgan's whiny pissy vocals. Honestly, rather listen to Heartless over this vile song, cause while that song may suck, it has the same problems I would waste on you. At least I'll feel every bad emotion I can think of while listening to this song. At this point, it doesn't matter what anyone thinks about this douchebag's music. It doesn't matter if he grows as an artist. Hell, it doesn't matter if I've always thought most of what I've heard from him is mediocre at best, and that includes the song that's currently charting. I will never forgive for what he did in February. I'll never forgive him for not choosing to make the effort to be a better person. Despite the fact I knew what's gonna happen, I ain't forgiving National for bringing him back to the spotlight. I'll forgive country fans for awarding his despicable behavior for letting his album be the most successful of the year, and I especially won't get over the fact that the one song from the album that was close to making this year's year-end chart is an ugly, bitter, depressing song that showcases the type of person this bastard is in real life. Fuck Morgan Wallen!
What did you think would happen? What did you think would happen? I'll never let you have it.
Number 3.
I just looked at my wrist, I got time today. Fuck it, I'm crossing the line today.
You know, if there's one thing that learning about music history has taught me, it's that you shouldn't assume that an artist will be a one-hit wonder, because who knows what artists will stick around and what artists will fade to obscurity. Like, I thought Moneybagg Yo was gonna be a one-hit wonder with Said Some cause it didn't have anything memorable to warrant a second hit. But he got 2 more hits this year with Time Today and Waukesha. We all thought Lil Baby was gonna be a one-time thing with Yes Indeed, and now look where he is. He's one of the biggest names in hip-hop music right now. I'd assumed that Blackbeard was gonna be forgot about after 2017 with his god-awful Do-Re-Mi, but he's since gotten 2 more hits after that one, and has been featured on plenty of charting songs this year. He even wrote a Maroon 5 hit this year. For an older example, before I step up my chart knowledge and watching game in 17, I thought Far East Movement were one-hit wonders with like a G6 until I found out they had a second in the following year with the lead singer One Republic. So yeah, it's not really easy to predict what artists are gonna stick around. Cause an artist like Fetty Wap can have a big year and then not be seen again, while an artist like Soulja Boy, who might reek of one-hit wonder at first, could turn into one of the most influential artists of all time for whatever reason. With that out of the way, I don't think you blame me if I said this sentence right now. If you had told me that out of all the artists who have their first hit in 2019, Blanco Brown, aka the Gibb Guy, would get a second hit, I would have called you insane. Hell, I'd be even more shocked if it had been with not another TikTok challenge, but a duet battle with a presumably awful boyfriend country band, because that actually happened, and it fucking sucks!
I love you just the way God made you, girl. He don't.
Why? Why does this song exist? Why did this become a hit? Why did this group that I've never heard of before the Be on the Hot 100 collab with an artist that clearly no one cares about with a hit song no one's even thought of since the Old Town Road craze? I just have so many questions right now. And the thing about this song is that it was a sleeper hit. It was released the same year as when the Gibb was popular. So you're telling me that when these guys decide to work with the should-be one-hit wonder to make him a thing, we could have easily ignored it and forgot it existed just like that Old Town Road ripoff, but then country radio stations decide to make this a thing even though it's old news, and that allowed to peak in the top 40 and spend the right amount of weeks in that range to clinch its year-end spot? I mean, I know Music Row loves pushing old singles to be huge hits for whatever reason, but why this? You wanna know something funny about Blanco's first hit? I think that song is overhated. Well, kind of. Yes, it's true that it's clearly capitalizing off of Old Town Road's success, and the song's not really a good one, but if you take it for what it is, which is a dance song for parties, it works just fine. The chorus is mildly catchy, the production's not too bad, the dance instructions are basic, but that's the case for most dance songs of this type, and I even think Blanco sounds like he's having fun. I still don't particularly care for the song too much, and there's much better dance songs out there, but you can do worse too. And oh boy, when I say worse, I'm not just talking about making a fun dance song, but a song in general, because the thing about the gift is that I get it's a pill, and while I became a hit at the end of the day, removing the corporateness of it. Hell, despite all the songs I've complained about on this list, I do recognize that there's an audience for them and understand why people would listen to them, and that includes songs that say I did get a pill, like Good Time. Like, if that song came on at a party I'm at, and I was forced to jam along to it, at least I could fake it and pretend that it's appealing. Even my top 2, I know why they exist in the music world, even though I don't approve for what they go for. But with Just Away, I don't get it. I just do not fucking get it. Like, what is this song trying to be? What am I supposed to latch on, or what are the people who might enjoy this supposed to latch on for this to be a worthy hit? I've never been so confused on what to do with the song. But, as some person at my elementary school taught me, when you feel a certain way about someone or something, there's always a reason why, and I, Mike Duggar, the weak critic that he is gonna analyze what this song is trying to do and why it fails miserably. So let's get the production out of the way first. It's overproduced pop country much that you always hear from your ordinary average to below average pop country song. There's nothing about the production here that you couldn't get from Single Saturday Night, One Too Many, If I Didn't Love You, etc. But then we have to talk about the lyrics. I wish I didn't have to discuss these lyrics because holy shit! This is some uncomfortable territory here! What this song is trying to present itself as is another generic love song. It's basically about how the Parmalee guy and Blanco think their woman is amazing just the way they are. Yeah, I mean, there's basically 2 ways you could interpret that. At best, it's a poor way of saying that you'll accept your SO however they present themselves, like Just the Way You Are by Bruno Mars, aka the one song with that trope that's actually made romantic in my opinion. Or at worst, it's a way to manipulate them to say how they look to satisfy their needs like Little Things by One Direction. So how do these guys handle this concept?
Well, your hair's in a mess in the morning when you open your eyes. The way an hour goes by when you say that you'll be ready in 5. The little dimple on the side of your smile when you're laughing at a movie that you've seen about 1,000 times. You know, girl, that I can't lie.
Yep, they're basically going the all of me loves all of you route. Well, at least Blanco is. Let's see if Parmalee guy's less selfish.
The flush in your cheeks when you're mad, but you say that you're not. Yeah. And the shape of the face that you make when you're taking a shot.
Taking a shot.
The little white lie that you told the security guard at the hotel pool when we got caught. I was thinking, girl, you never looked so high.
Never looked so high.
Okay, you're worse at this than the Give guy. Good to know. Out of all the imperfect things to highlight from that chick, why face she makes when taking a shot, like, that's a weird thing to be turned on by. And what was the lie she was telling to the security guard at the pool? And why did you two get caught? You give me information that's not really important to the people listening to the song. Whatever. Now the uncomfortable part of the song. It'd be one thing if they were saying that this woman's imperfection turned them on, but they don't just blatantly state that they love them just the way they are. They thought it'd be a good idea to bring religion into conversation. And not the verses, but the chorus. You know, the part of the song that people are supposed to remember from.
I love you just the way God made you, girl. He don't make mistakes. What you call your imperfections, I call beautiful, babe. So let my eyes be
shit! No way! You did not just... Not only were they like, oh honey, don't you understand? You can't do anything about the feature you don't like. God made you this way for a reason. And you know he doesn't make any mistakes when creating these people to these women. But they also said, so if you don't get a lot of people to date you, I love you for the way you look. And that's all that matters. You want someone to date you? Well, the Christian God made me to be part of your romantic life. So you should be thankful that there's someone out there who wants to provide you that special love that you've been missing your entire life. Oh my lord, god damn it, what the fuck? This is not just offensive, but awkward too, like... Okay, look. I don't know how to tell you this, but I am a Christian. I was brought up in church. I read the Bible a lot when I was a kid. I heard praise and worship songs all the time. So it's kind of awkward for me to be angry about a song that brings up God for self-empowerment, because I've been taught my life that God made me special and he loves me very much, which I kind of do believe. He may not answer my prayers right away, but he does get there eventually. And I'm pretty sure these guys did touch their women with that sentiment and gave her hope. If this song had been written as a Christian song about empowering all these unique people to be true to themselves because that's the way God made them, I doubt I'd like it, but I'd be much kinder to it. And I know there's plenty of people on the YouTube comment section that probably sees it like that, which is their business. I can't stop them from using this song as their self-empowerment anthem. And I just hope they're not watching this video, because I'm not gonna have some nice things to say about this. Yeah, this might take a while, cause I'm gonna have to talk about some things I really wish I didn't have to, so if you don't want to hear that, just go to the next entry. The timestamp to where the next entry starts is in the description, so just go to the description and hit where number 2 begins and you'll see. Alright, cool. But to continue this conversation and my perspective, that's not what these two are doing. It's not a empowerment song about accepting yourself because God made you this way. It's a love about how these two guys used a Christian God as an excuse to make their women say how they currently are because it makes their dicks hard. And I don't think that's something Christians would approve of. I mean, what type of Christian song would mention lying to a security guard at a hotel pool? You do know that do not lie is part of 10 commandments, right? And also a contemporary Christian song having a lyric about a woman making a certain face when taking a shot. Doesn't drinking alcohol influence you to do a bunch of sins that's against the word? But yet, despite the fact that they clearly wrote this song as a love song, the music video wants you to believe that the song is used for good. They have all these women who are standouts from the crowd, and they decide to pretend like they're uplifting them by telling them the true meaning of the word and how God put them on earth for a reason. Yeah, VeggieTales, this is not. This did not come from the heart. They only did this to trick people to believe that they're nice and humble people, and I ain't buying that shit. And even if you do find some of the song, remove the manipulative video, on how God made you this way and he made your SO so they can be part of your life charming, well, I don't think hardcore Christian would approve on that theory, because these guys are saying that God made them for loving her, and by loving they mean fucking! And not only would that creep out these women, but if you were talking to a hardcore Christian girl, they'd have purity rings, and you wouldn't be able to have sex with them until you marry them. However, the thing that angers me most about the intentions of the song would be the bridge. That bridge basically drives home the entire point I'm trying to make on why it fails to be a touching love song and a empowering Christian song at the same time. Here's what they say.
Girl, I ain't never gonna try to change it.
So Blonde just blatantly states that he's gonna leave her the way she is. So you could say that whatever she chooses to be on the outside, he'll accept her. But nah, I know that's not what he meant, especially when Parmalee guy comes in and says,
My masterpiece, my Mona Lisa, and I need you to stay just the way God made you.
did you just bring a God's name to stop this woman from changing herself? Was she about to get plastic surgery because of the way she hates herself, and you're bringing up the gospel to stop her only because you like how she currently looks? No. No. As someone who shares the same religion as you, Fuck you! How dare you bring up your religion to manipulate this woman into stopping her from involving herself only because that features what gets you a boner? And even if you're doing that to get her saved, well, what if she doesn't want to worry about that right now? Hell, what if she doesn't even believe in the Christian God? I mean, you guys complain all the time about other people worshiping different gods or not believing in one, so why are you pushing your religion on them? How would that make them change who they are and feel better about themselves? If they want to get breast enlargements, breast implants, jaw reshaping, or any types of plastic surgery, or better yet get a sex change, fucking let them do it! It's their body, their life, they can do whatever the fuck they want. If they don't care about what God says in the book, then that's their business. Accepting a person for who they are is to allow them to be whomever they want to be, even if they don't even know who they are yet. And telling other people that, well, you may not satisfy others, but I love how you look and how God's blessed me with your unique beauty to pleasure me. And that's all that matters. It's just gross! At this point, I think I'm starting to understand why your beautiful just the way you are songs get so much hate. Especially when we have songs like Just the Way that comes off less of a friend covering you and more like consider why pastor at church preaches that if you don't see the way God made you when you burn to the world, you're going to hell. And no one needs to hear that shit. You didn't see Alessia Carr bring a gun when she was convincing listeners not to change how they look at scars to be beautiful. So why are you doing it? This song is a huge disgrace to romantic love songs, self-empowerment anthems, and even contemporary Christian songs altogether. I've looked at every angle of this song, and I couldn't find one thing about this song, from the generic production, lifeless performances, and especially the asinine lyrics that's worth defending or returning to. It's probably the most worthless song to become a hit this entire year, and it only became a hit because of country radio. Honestly, this should be my pick for the worst song 2021 since it has the least redeemed qualities of any hit song. But as much as I hate this song and know it'll show up on plenty of others' worst lists, hell even top it, there were two songs that pissed me off more. So, what could be worse than Just the Way? Ooh. Oh boy, here we go.
Suddenly you're asking for it back. Could you tell me where'd you get the nerve?
Number 2.
But I don't really care how bad it hurts.
Oh my god, this song. Ugh. Let's get this over with.
Am I the only one willing to bleed? Take a bullet for being free.
Okay, I'll be totally honest with you. This song right here, for the longest time, was gonna be my personal pick for the worst song of 2021. Hell, it was still number 1 for me when part 1 dropped on December 1st. And currently, as I'm recording this, it is technically still my least favorite song on this list. Or at least it's the one that I enjoy listening to the least. But here is one thing you need to know about my process of making this list. Usually when I make big videos such as current top 10 lists or rank downs, I don't record anything until I bring the entire script. Basically all the elements to make it complete. For this video, when I dropped part 1, I wasn't finished writing the script. I almost was, but not fully. And the main reason that held me back from finishing the script was because I had to do analysis on this song. Well, technically I didn't have to, but I was planning on doing a huge outrage rant on the song and why I despise it so much. Because the number 1 spot for the worst list is supposed to be the part where you release all your anger and frustration to a song and give it the best whooping you can. When it came to writing my thoughts on Am I the Only One, I was struggling because I didn't know how to handle this song. It's a song that, while it offends me a lot and is one of my least favorite songs of all time, also had too many hot button topics that I really didn't want to have to discuss on this channel. Because, to be honest, I don't really like having these tough conversations at all. So I took a break and just decided to record the first half of the list so I can have some of the worst lists out on December 1st, and maybe by the time I upload the video, I'll have some inspiration on how to tackle this right-wing anthem. But it turned out that I still had a hard time taking this song to task, and usually if you have so much disdain for a song, you can actually speak your mind on why you hate it, because I've always been able to do that. Even in songs I was dreading to talk about on my channel, I was perfectly able to explain to the world why I hated them. Hell, even when I was struggling on articulating why my original number 2 pick was my trigger song this year, I eventually was able to come up with an explanation. But with this abysmal song, I just did not have it in me to give it the rate I wanted, and doesn't help that I was really dragging my feet with this segment. And honestly, this entire second half of the list, like, all the songs in this bottom 5, except for Good Time, are ones that I give a 1 out of 10 to. They're all songs I hate with burning passion and weren't really fun to write about. And after having to do 3 rants in a row, I question if I should even do a 4th one with a song that I think we all know it's irredeemable. I thought about it for 2 days, and my answer to that question was nope! Yeah, I may love this song, but I don't think I'm going to tear this apart because I think I've said everything I had to say about it. Back on the week for July 17th was when I had to do my top 4 review for that month. One of the new songs that appeared in the top 40 wasn't I the only one. I was strongly considering skipping reviewing that song because I heard from a lot of people what it was about and how it was the worst thing that charted on the Hot 100 this year. Not only that, but the song was in the same vein as those Tom McDonald songs that show up every now and then. And you know that anything associated with him needs to be left in the dust. Unlike the songs from him where they usually debut in the lower rungs of the Hot 100 so they're easy to ignore, this was a top 20 debut. It had potential to be a hit, and not only that, but country radio stations considered giving this airtime so it could have some staying power. And that was what drove me to listen to the song and review it for a video because I legitimately thought it was going to be a hit because of that tweet. And if country radio were going to give more airtime to women and a bunch of underground African American artists who are struggling to catch a big break in the industry, but give this jingoistic bullshit the time of day, that was enough to have as content because it would prove my point that racism is representative of what country music is all about. I listened to that damn song multiple times, much to my dismay, to write a 4.5-minute segment on my issues with it. And I was planning on really going hard on the song when list season came around. But when I had to listen to all my contenders and research them, I never really once listened to the song. I had this song as the last song on my playlist, and before it came on, I turned it off because I didn't want or need to hear it. I think I only listened to it once to make sure if that was the song that I hated from the year the most while I was finalizing my worst list, and while that was true, I still didn't feel like doing any research on it or whatever. But every time I watched that main review from that July video to get any inspiration to tackle this song and expand my thoughts on it, I came to the conclusion that that review I did in that July video was the best way I could possibly handle talking about Am I the Only One? Cause let's be honest, despite the fact that it qualified for the list, does anyone really want to deal with me doing the outrage rant on the lead singer's thing complaining about how things aren't the way they used to be back when Bush was president? Like, unlike the other propaganda songs, it doesn't even try to come up with points on how the country has become bad because of the liberals, or at least sound like you're a true American. I'm a minority, so any songs that has something to do with racism or xenophobia is gonna get a big, fat, gigantic 0.5 from me, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But one thing I can give songs like Have You Forgotten, and Tom McDonald's song, or Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue, is that they at least attempt to give that patriotic, or in this case, jingoistic feel, and some even attempt to provide points to make you think and be on their side. It allows you to argue with them and really get your rage on these conservative people who are arrogant assholes. Even the Let's Go Brandon songs and Battle of the Green Berets has something there to get your rage out for a reason. The former being an anti-bias shitpost, and the other being a song that promoted the Vietnam War which killed millions of people. And am I the only one? It doesn't even try to offend people. I mean, it does offend people, but not because he's cursing every single little person out there, but because he's acting like an old, sad and depressed senior citizen who hasn't realized that our political climate has changed over the years. It's basically this entire photo if it were a 4.5-minute song, and a song that's basically that photo doesn't deserve to be scorned, especially when the only reason why the be in the top 20 was because of a bunch of big conservatives bought it, so they could have a jingoistic song to play during the 4th of July, and then drop off the face of the charts a week after, only return for a second week because I don't fucking know. And even as someone who can't stand those people at all, I think we can all agree that they can do better than that. I really don't see anyone getting empowered on what it's like to be American from this song. It's miserable, whiny, depressing, just an overall track that has no reason to exist. And during those 2 days I reflect on what to do with this fail of a jingoistic song, I had a gut feeling that calling this my personal pick of the worst song 2021 wasn't right, because it's not like I had to listen to this song. And even though country radio stations were planning on putting this song on rotation, did they really? Because who the hell wants to hear a 49-year-old man scream what the fuck is even when a non-Confederate statue comes down out of town near you? No one! Right? It may be true that I hate this more than what's now my number one pick, but look at the bright side! At least it thankfully did become a hit. If I had been convinced by a tweet to review this song in July and publicly acknowledge its existence on this show, I would have easily ignored it. It would have fallen the same vein as Let's Go Brandon, Anytime McDonald's songs, and Money Over Falls as songs that, while maybe awful or even abysmal, is not worth anyone's time and would be best to not give it any attention. So therefore, what I'm saying is that this song, it's ignorable. It's not causing any damage to anyone. No one's really thought of it since the song dropped off the charts, and despite the fact that it has no redeeming qualities, no appeal, and is an insult to me, our country, and even jingoistic music, it honestly doesn't ruin my life hearing it all the time, mainly because I've chosen not to listen to that damn song since that July video. And once I finish this video, I plan to forget this song's existence ASAP. God damn, that was so much shit I had to say about these songs. Yeah, I didn't think I'd get that passionate with the songs I hate from this year, but hey, you know what? They deserve it for causing me so much pain. I wish I could stop, but we know we can't end this video without talking about my number one pick, which, unlike that last song, did become a hit. And I did have to listen to it multiple times because of success. And most importantly, it was one that caused me to be miserable, anxious, irritated, and depressed all around. Joy. My rant on it will not be beautiful. But before we get to what could possibly be, let's go through 10 dishonorable mentions that were still awful, but weren't awful enough to make the list.
But she don't wanna go to sleep, she angry. Lately she been noticing he ain't me.
Ugh. This song, words can't express how much I want to put this on the list probably because, oh fuck, this shit grinds on my gears! From the checked out and not charismatic performance of both Drake and Young Bleh, the fact that this album song became a hit because of Drake's star power, the ridiculous lyrics on them wanting their exes to come back to them even though they've already gone with someone else, and the butchering sample of a Sting song that I love. Will rappers please stop using that song as samples? I wasn't too keen when Juice used it, and these guys put it to worse use. But unfortunately, I was forced to dim it down to dishonorable mentions cause it wasn't as incoherent as Follow You or insufferable as Without You. Although the way Young Bleh sings They Say Time Heals does make me want to flip my bed.
They say time heals, they say time heals, they say time heals, they say time heals.
It might just be me, but the way he sings that line just strikes some sort of nerve with me that I don't even know how to explain.
I'd burn this whole town down, pick a spot, dig a hole, put them ashes in the ground.
I mean, I guess it's better than Small Town Boy. The production's better, and the lyrics actually have a meaning this time, except the message that the lyrics are presenting here is fucking absurd. Here, Dustin has just had his heart broken by some woman, so he wants to burn his entire town down, but unfortunately, the town where his ex-girlfriend is at is the same place where his mom lives, so he calls off the arson. Yay? But But setting that stupid concept aside, the main issue I have with this song is that Dustin doesn't even sell how angry he is that this woman has left him, and the generic by Nubs pop country instrumentation doesn't match the right tone for this villainous breakup song to work. But wait! This isn't trying to be this evil cathartic breakup song with badass instrumentation and well-written lyrics that might make it a little more interesting, but instead it goes for more of a reflective tone, make you feel the artist's pain, and yeah, you basically feel right there. If the first thing that comes to mind to move on from your ex is burn your whole town down, which you can't even do because your mom lives there, that says more about you than your ex, and you won't be getting sympathy from anyone.
You can try to get on the my skin while he's on mine. Yeah, on my skin.
So most of you have heard the song Driver's License, right? Of course you have. It is one of the most popular songs of the year that dominated the winner. Well, one thing you might forget is that the woman who presumably stole Olivia's ex-boyfriend wrote a response song to this whole debacle. It's basically her just saying that despite Olivia's attempt to make people hate her for causing a breakup between her and Josh because of that song, she's gonna do her best to not let it get under her skin. Well, we all know that she really does care about the backlash. Otherwise, this song would have been made to ride the success off the Driver's License, and doesn't help her case when she's like, hey, for too long you've been telling your side of the story, so now I'm telling mine, and then follow that up with, haha, I'm one happy late, I have your man on my skin now, suck it! All this petty attitude and bitterness to this then 17-year-old girl is capped off with very minimal and monotonous production, and Sabrina giving out a painfully shrill performance, and you got yourself a song that has no reason to exist in the world, and rightfully didn't become a breakout mainstream hit.
You leave a trail of heartbreak and heartache like it cool.
Not as big a shrinker as Without You, even though I never liked either song to begin with, but oh my god, this song is more dreadful to listen to now than it was back when it was popular in April. Of course I don't like how this beat sounds with the badly mixed chip of vocals, and I've never been a fan of the lyrics about a woman trying to let go of a troubled relationship and deciding to expose all the drama on Twitter, despite the man's attempt on making it work, but the main reason why I can't stand this song is that Mooski is a terrible singer. I'm sorry, but any good qualities I can find from the song gets thrown out the window when this guy gets on the mic. Seriously, every syllable he pronounces, every vocal inflection is just pain in the ears. I think he's at his worst when he does the I in the refrain.
Put you first.
Oh God, kill me now.
Everybody knows my past now, like my house was always made of glass.
Bieber, listen up, dude. If you're gonna at least attempt to get sympathy for your past, make sure that's your idea and you write the entire damn song by yourself instead of just hopping in the studio, glancing at someone else's song that they presumably wrote for someone else, and asking the songwriter if you can have it for yourself so you can get an emotional hit to have people cry for you. And no, changing up some of the lyrics in line with your past doesn't help you get off the hook when what you're singing here isn't true, and you've never even learned from these mistakes.
Sitting here drinking beer, talking God, amen.
Look, the song has a very stupid title, and both artists singing this song are notorious musicians in the country, so of course I'm not surprised at what I got here. But just because I expected the type of song I got from these bozos doesn't excuse me from at least making the dishonorable mentions.
Here's to the almost so close. It's over out of the blues.
Yet another boring ass sentimental love ballad country with crappy production and some lyrics that are just cringeworthy. The premise in this song is that Jordan dated a bunch of women that could have been the one for him, but weren't, and now that he's happily married to his current wife, he's happy that all these bad relationships happen, and why are you saying that to your wife? Why are we listening to this conversation? I'd ask more questions, but this is the Dishonorable Mentions, I have to keep things short. So all I'll say is that this song is sappy, cliched, boring, effortless in a bad way, and I hate almost everything about it. Get this shit out of my face! I have been in a pretty shitty mood these past few weeks, so the last thing I need is for some young lady to tell me that she wants her ex-boyfriend to be miserable for the rest of his life until he dies over some die rock production. Of course her weak-ass vocals don't compliment at all. In terms of artists popular on TikTok and music careers, I'll take Bella Poarch any day, at least her song's great. Also, between this Nessa chick and another artist that I'll be talking about very soon, something tells me that I might need to make a note for myself and avoid any women with the last name Bear, cause they seem to be a petty bunch to me.
Hey,
I may have praised some MGK songs from Tickets to My Downfall, but this is just pitiful. I think I remember when I first talked about my ex's best friend that MGK should continue making punk rock bangers, and this isn't a punk rock song, or especially a banger. What he's attempting here is a nice grunge ballad, and he sucks at it. The instrumentation is dreary, and MGK's vocals don't favor this type of song at all. He sounds like some poser doing a parody of a grunge song. The lyrics are basically his struggles with the spotlight and his drug problems, but I can't garner any sympathy when his performance makes this concert sound like the most miserable and woeful experience in the world. I know that's how it's supposed to be, but truth be told, I'm not really in the mood to listen to another song that just sucks the life out of me.
I don't know. I might come, I might go, I don't know.
So you wanna know how many songs I hate this year total that charted? 21. Yup. The last dishonorable mention was a fight between this song and that horrible Goosebumps remix Hume did. I was having a hard time figuring out which one deserved it more, and was leaning towards the latter due to butchering one of my favorite hip-hop songs of 2017. But I decided against it because I get how some people would get turned up by Hume's take on the remix even though I feel otherwise. And looking back, I'm actually glad he made that remix, because given how Travis Scott has been handling the Astroworld Festival tragedy, I say he deserved one of his best songs to be ruined by a flavorless generic house beat. Girls Want Girls, on the other hand, has complete offensive lyrics about Drake manipulating lesbians to fuck with him. It's not just limited to that "Say You're a Lesbian Girl Me Too" line, he does that throughout the entire song, sleep-inducing production, and insipid performance from him too. Oh, and Lil Baby should just avoid this track like the plague, because you do not want your name to be associated with an insulting song like this. By the way, the fact that the song is extremely boring to a point where it puts me to sleep is the only reason why I wasn't too close to making the list proper, but still, Drake really needs to hang it up at this point if he's gonna keep churning out songs like this. Alright, we're about to get into my personal worst song of 2021. Before I get to number one, I just want to apologize for being so negative in this video. I try my best to calm myself down when writing about these songs, but they just make me feel like the fucking worst. Ugh. But I don't do this channel because I hate music. If anything, I do what I do because I'm passionate about it. So if you somehow did enjoy this video, then I guess you can leave a like and even consider subscribing to this channel. And I'm pretty sure you do have some constructive criticism on my video, so if you're willing to share that with me, then I'm open to hearing it. Also, say my rants aside, what are your thoughts on all my picks? Do you agree or disagree? What made your personal list? As long as you're respectful with my opinions, I'll be respectful with yours. Once I finish up this video, I can make my best songs of 2021 list, which is gonna be fun because this year has some amazing music! The video probably won't be out till January though, since it takes time to make these sorts of videos. Oh yeah, and I also have some unfinished business to take care of before I work on it. I have another video that I've been working on for one too many weeks that I want to try to get out before the year ends. And that video is a positive one too! So if you're interested, you can absolutely hold you over! And I'm glad I get to make two videos where I'm praising music instead of criticizing it. But before I do get to work on these videos, I have to take care of a particular song that ruined me all year. So let me warm up before I do. Alright, I'm ready. Let's finish this motherfucker! Here's a quick recap of everything we've discussed before we get to number 1. Number 10, Follow You by Imagine Dragons. Number 9, Without You by Kid Laroi. Number 8, Break It Up Was Easy and Nice by Sam Hunt. Number 7, Glad You Exist by Dan Shay. Number 6, A-OK by Ty Verdez. Number 5, Good Time by Nico Moon. Number 4, Wasting on You by Morgan Wallen. Number 3, Just Away by Parmalee and Blanco Brown. And number 2, Am I the Only One by Aaron Lewis.
When you broke me first,
It is number 1. Why does country music has to be in the state it's been in? It's ridiculous what Nashville has chosen to be big mainstream hits this year. From the bro country resurgence, the sappy boyfriend ballads, and the racist people that work for the industry, it just makes me want to go back to my close-minded teen days when I used to hate country music. I never told you this, but because of all the mainstream country hits from 2013 through 17, I had a huge hate bias towards the genre. And I'm not gonna lie, despite the fact that I've praised plenty of country songs on this channel, I still don't care for the genre all that much. Well, at least modern country. But the main reason why I didn't give country music a chance back then was because of all these songs about beers, trucks, tractors, dirt roads, women, and made me believe that was what country music was all about. Up until 2019, the only country song that I liked was a hit song from the Chicks. And it's funny how the one song I liked from the genre back in the day came from the Chicks because they're females in the industry. And guess what? Most of the modern country songs I've liked have been from women. While I have come to appreciate some of the classic country songs and artists from older decades since I stopped my bias in 2019, and even mentioned in part 1 that tequila was another exception to a country song I enjoyed before my extreme bias ended, I'm not feeling what the men are making in the industry. While the modern country scene in the male side does have Chris Stapleton, Eric Church, and to some extent Luke Combs, others like Kane Brown, Thomas Rhett, Blake Shelton, and so on just don't impress me. So that's why I basically had to rely on the women to get my country fix and root for them to get hits, because unlike most of the men, the women actually make well-written songs that get to me, whether I relate to them or not. And even if it's something simple as a drinking song or a cheesy love song, they have more charisma than most of the guys. However, over the 2 years since my hate bias ended, I've also had to come to realize that the women can make music just as bad as the bros. Like, say, Gabby Barrett. Oh my god, there's a lot of choices I don't really stand by on my worst list last year, but if there is one thing I regret doing in that video, it's using I Hope as a transition song, cause I've actually come to hate that song over the past couple months. Not gonna explain why, since basically my reasons match why everyone else hates it, but holy shit, I can't believe I didn't recognize how awful both versions of that song are sooner. But as for Gabby Barrett herself, I'm not proud that Nashville has decided to choose her to represent the females in country music. As many of you know, I Hope is the biggest country song from a woman in years. That song had crazy longevity, debuted in January of 2020, and didn't reach its peak of number 3 until November of that year, which is pretty impressive. And while it wasn't my favorite country hit of that year at the time, since I used that as my transition song, it had grown on me to a point where I was fine with that feat. Hell, I even ignored how it got there to celebrate a female country artist's success, and was considering maybe looking to see if she had better songs than that to see if she's a good artist. But once I Hope eventually did sour on me because of that awful Charlie Puth remix, and I heard the good ones, that was enough to know that she ain't an artist that'd be worth keeping around. But this is 2021 in country, and Nashville gives their airtime to the worst. And I'm upset that she had to be one of the few females to represent country in 2021, cause last year we had plenty of talented musicians. Like, besides her, we had hits from Mary Morris, Maddie and Tay, Carly Pierce, and veteran Miranda Lambert. Meanwhile, this year, majority of the songs from the women in country became flops in the mainstream. Sure, Mary and Carrie Underwood had hits this year, but they had to collaborate with a guy to get there, and unlike with Miss Pierce, the guy's name shows up first. Also doesn't help that both songs there aren't particularly good. We did eventually get a great solo female country hit in the mainstream with Things a Man Ought to Know by Lane Wilson, even if it barely made it there. But Gabby, on the other hand, had the most successful crossover hit, and despite not being particularly a good artist, Music Row are putting all their time and effort into turning her into a star. And look what happened! Thanks to them, she got a follow-up hit. As much as I complain about the men in country, that follow-up hit to I Hope is so awful, to a point where the song that topped my list is a country song sung by a woman. And yet, it's hard for me to pinpoint why I hate this song so much, and why it's the one that made me completely disown her musically. I guess I could leave it as one of those songs that make me irrationally angry, which it kind of does, but I have to make some sort of justification for my placement here. So let's talk about it, I guess. Alright, so I first heard of the good ones when it kept appearing on the Bubbling Under Hot 100 in the last 2 months of 2020. I never listened to it at the time since I was busy with working on my year-end shit and getting my channel started. But at the time, I had assumed that it was a fun drinking song. A song about how she wants the good ones to have fun and get rowdy. Until I heard a sample of the song from a video and realized that it was a ballad. So while I now knew it wasn't a fun song, I'd still interpret it as a drinking song. But instead of drinking to have fun, she's doing it to move on from an ex. But then I finally got around to listening to it, and it turns out that it wasn't an interesting breakup song about drinking to forget your ex, but another cheesy love song in the same vein as Dan and Shay, Brett Young, Jordan Davis, and all the other sentimental boyfriend country acts. And just like those act songs, it wasn't even one that was filled with a lot of charisma and charm, but one that filled me up with rage. It was so bad that I actually wanted to listen to a post-2018 Dan Shay song. And you know you fucked up when I'm forced to be more interested in post-2018 Dan and Shay. And the thing is that Only Glad You Exist in just a way, the song actually appreciates the significant other in a good way. However, she's not singing it to her SO, but to the listener. She's telling the listener that she has it good with her husband. Which is a bit interesting, but if you're truly happy with your partner, then you would tell it to the world. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm open to hear how far you two have come in the relationship as long as you do it in a way that's acceptable. Like, give some details about the good things he does for you, and what made you fall in love with the guy in the first place.
He's a phone call to his parents. He's a Bible by the bed. He's the t-shirt that I'm wearing. He's a song stuck in my head.
Yeah, that's not really giving me details on why you fell in love with this person. Instead, you're just listing a bunch of stupid metaphors that don't mean shit. And just like Dustin Lich's delivery, Small Town Boy, you are so unconvincing.
He's solid and he's steady like the Allegheny runs. He knows just where he's going and he's proud of where he's from. One of the good ones.
What?
He's one of the good ones.
He's one of the good ones? That's how you're referring to... I mean, you do... I'll just let her continue.
Love me like he should, one like he wrote the book, one. The kind you find when you don't even love one. Anybody can be good ones, but he's good all the time. He's one of the good ones, and he's on mine.
Yeah! You hear that, people? This guy is the nicest person in the world. He loved her like he should, knows exactly what type of person he is, wrote some important book, is just the perfect gentleman all around. Oh, anyone can be good once, but unlike most people, this guy is good all the time. And he belongs to this lovely lady only. Okay. Gabby, can I ask you a question real quick? What the hell is that supposed to mean? Huh? What makes your special one better than everyone else? And why are you so complacent about it? Shouldn't you just be telling people that he's a nice, kind gentleman instead of being, yeah, that's right, motherfucker, I'm someone who's loyal to me. He's better than every guy on this planet. Things don't get better in the second verse. All she does there is just use more metaphors to describe how good he is at loving her down. But there is one line that stands out to me in that verse.
Nobody does it better all the way he pulls me in. I've known a couple bad ones, but they all let me to him.
Who are exactly the bad ones? You're not being specific. You haven't given me any detail on why your relationship is good besides he's this metaphor or that metaphor, and this man's better than every person you've dated. God, lyrics like these should upset me so much. It is so easy not to use a bad phrase to get your point across. how glad you exist is a bad way to tell your partner how much you love them, it's the same way one of the good ones is to tell people that your soulmate is really good to you in a relationship. But a bad phrase isn't enough for me to put this song this high on the list, so let's do with the instrumentation. Like I said with my number 10 pick, when you're singing a love song, the instrumentation has to be romantic. It needs to have some sort of intimate tone to let the listener know that the two of you are in love. And never have I seen a song that sounds less like a romantic song and more like a diss track than this one. At least the terrible mixing and I hope fit what the song was going for. Here, Jesus, I feel like I'm in danger and I shouldn't be! The moment that guitar starts at the beginning, I kinda get uneasy. And then the synths come in the chorus, and not only do they sound fucking atrocious, but it makes my heart tremble so hard. I swear, I feel like I'm having a panic attack here. But while I despise how basic and off-putting the lyrics are, and how terrifying the production feels, especially for a love song, that's not what convinced me it was worse than just a way. No! The main ingredient to this awful meal that puts me on edge is Gabby Barrett herself. If there is anything, and I mean anything, that can make a clusterfucking song look better, it is always the performer, and Gabby sounds so jarring on this track. The way her voice sounds on this production, especially the painful annoying chorus, makes my body go apeshit. Like, when I hear Gabby paying tribute to this wonderful man, it comes less of a woman who's so happy that she wants to tell everyone about her relationship, and more of someone who thinks her man is so awesome she wants to give out a huge middle finger to all the bad people out there. And like I said, she never even states who the bad people are. So whatever her definition of a good person is can differ from everyone else's. I think that's the case with her. The threatening instrumentation, the condescending lyrics, and Gabby's self-satisfying delivery paints her as this in-your-face who wants to tear down every guy for not meeting up to whatever her standards are. And you know what? I don't need that shit in my music, especially when, just as I said with that other Barrett song, I've been feeling the best these past couple of months. I prefer not to go into why, but the last thing I need is for some conservative chick bragging about how her husband, who based on what I heard from him is a terrible person in real life, is one of the good ones, and talking down on the people who are her type, which I'm assuming her type is extremely racist and homophobic people. And I know I just admitted that part of the reason why I hate this song have to do with her politics, but even if I remove the controversy the two of them have had, the song would still offend me because the execution is done terribly in my opinion. Now by Gabby sounding like a snooty popular rich girl in high school, and the production sounds so heinous that I'm kind of wishing for a sweet release of death.
We should all find us one.
I'll admit it, I might be overreacting to the lyrics of the song and everything surrounding it, and there was a part of me who didn't even want to interpret this song as what I'm interpreting, because I don't like having songs like these be on my worst list. Like some normal basic listener is just gonna see this as a mediocre generic love ballad that's not worth hating, and while I didn't see it like that on the first listen, I originally was gonna be generous and call it very bad due to hideous production and Gabby's nasal vocals, and just take the lyrics for what they might be if I wasn't a music nerd. But the more I listened to the song over the months, the more it set my fight or flight responses to the point where I'd rather listen to Nico Moon having a better time than me, Morgan Wallen complaining that he wasted his time and effort on a woman who didn't want him, and even the lead singer of Parmalee and the Gibb guy manipulating their women into staying just the way God made them so they can got their unique features. Because while those three songs make my blood boil too, they don't trigger any anxiety problems out of me. And it helps that I had no expectations for the first song, the second one accomplished what it was going for, and the third one, repeat what I said for the first, but add at least I can tolerate the instrumentation and vocals despite how bland and uninspired they are. Hell, even Am I the Only One was higher than this based on not being a hit and not having to be exposed to it alone. The Good Ones is at this position, not just because it caused me so much was pain throughout the month, but because I was expecting a good song and wanted to give this woman a fair chance despite our different political views. And this could have been a beautiful ballad about how much you appreciate your lover. If Gabby was a good singer, the instrumentation was pleasant, and the lyrics were at least acceptable, but because the opposite happened, it's become a recurrent nightmare for me throughout this entire year. One that made me realize that Gabby Barrett is probably one of the worst artists working in Nashville and probably should go away when this year finishes. And while most, if not all, my hatred to that despicable love ballad dedicated to that husband of hers is completely subjective, at the same time, if a song gives you a painful listening experience months on end, as in a torture session, especially one that has so much wasted potential and is a slap in the face as this one, I think I'm fucking justified calling The Good Ones by Gabby Barrett the worst song of 2021. Well, that was probably the worst video I've made. I kind of feel like shit after having to do so many rants on the songs. You gotta do what I gotta do. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.